Isn't it interesting that we often wait until Veterans Day comes around on the calendar to acknowledge the remarkable gifts that people in uniform have given us historically over the years. We, however, choose to make every day Veterans Day here, and we have a very special guest to do that who has a special story to tell, and you've told it in a book.
Yes.
Jan Krulick-Belin.
Yes.
Jan Krulick-Belin, who is known to so many people, your work at the Art Museum, and in so many different capacities. But why did you need letters from your father to really tell you, as a young girl, who your father was?
Well, thank you, first of all, for having me today. My dad passed away when I was only 6 years old, and my mom didn't really talk about him very much all those years growing up. So about a year before she passed away, she gave me this box of letters, and they contained over 100 letters that he had written her from World War II. And that began a journey for me that never really started out being a book. It was almost like the book wrote itself, because the adventures that I went on because of those letters were so astounding and coincidental and you know, people said miraculous, that they said you have to write a book. And I think because Dad, when he enlisted, he was 32, he was older. He was convinced that it was part of his responsibility to help fight for freedom and democracy, and he was in the Army Air Corps. And his letters were written by someone who was older and more mature and well educated. So I learned a lot about who he was as a person and the gifts that he had and who I was vis-a-vis, you know, and his daughter, what I inherited from him. And, you know, family legacy is important.
Did your mother encourage you at any time?
No, my mother probably would be horrified if she knew that I put the letters in a book for the public to see. She passed away a year after she gave me the box of letters, and she actually made me promise that I wouldn't even read them until she was gone. And it took me another 5 years to open the box of letters and delve into them, because I just didn't know what I would find in there and if I was emotionally ready, because I had this image of who my father was that I didn't want destroyed. You know, it's like Pandora's box. Once you open it, you can't stuff things back in. So that was the beginning of you know, reading the letters and making a plan to try to see what I could find out about Dad. He served in North Africa, which was a part of the war that a lot of people weren't familiar with. And I was not, certainly. And he wrote about this family, and particularly this young man that he befriended while he was stationed in Morocco. And he loved him as a brother, he said, and vowed someday to go back after the war and find him, which of course he never did. So that became my mission, to go and try to find him or his family.
May I impose on you to introduce us to your father through one of his letters? Oh,
absolutely, I would love to. Dad was an incredible letter writer. I'm just going to give you a snippet of one of the letters to Mom that he wrote somewhere in North Africa, March 10th, 1943. Dear Dot, my mom's name was Dorothy, and I'll skip to the best part. For me, there is only one dream and hope left, that at the end of my journey you will be there to welcome me. I try not to look beyond that, for an old specter haunts me. But with the dawn of the new world that we hear so much about, perhaps there will be a place for me, and one that will make it possible to make it a place for two. All the love, darling, that I haven't been able to give you for these many months, and all that I haven't written into my letters has been choked up in my heart. Tonight, I must tell you, you're the ship that will carry me safely home, the armor that will shield me from harm, and the breath that comes into my body. Every wonderful African sunrise is the light that shines from your eyes, and every sunset the curve of your lips. The sea that I saw the other day with my commanding officer was the color of your eyes, but far less beautiful. The lapping of the waves upon the shore was your voice whispering to me. Wherever I go, whatever I see, the wondrous, the magnificent, and the enchanting are always you. There is nothing that is good and kind that crossed my path that doesn't make me think of you. I'm hungry and thirsty, I'm tired and weary, I'm savage and beastly, I'm only all that is wretched only because we are apart. One kiss from your lips and hunger and thirst would flee. One touch from your hands and I'd be gentle and rested. You've created storms in my breast whose fury, if unleashed, would have torn us both apart. But even in its wildness there was beauty, for the calm that came afterwards was incomparable. I loved even when I thought I hated. And I know, every fiber of me knows, that for you I live. Without you I might walk and talk and do what every other mortal does, but without consciousness. I'm just trying to say what has been said so many millions of times before by poets and singers, but said so much better. Sweetheart, I love you. Love, Bill.
He was a soldier, a man of faith, and
a romantic.
And someone with true literary gifts. Thank you for sharing with us.
Thank you.
And the book then has the entire story,
yes,
your journey, examples of the letters, and we should probably tell everybody right now who's equally romantic what the name of the book is.
It's called Love, Bill, Finding My Father Through Letters from World War II, and it's available at all, Amazon bookstores or through my website.
We always say at discriminating bookstores.
Discriminating bookstores,
right.
Yes.
Well, fortunately, we've been discriminating enough to invite you to be our guest. And Bill.
Thank you so much.
Jan Krulick-Belin and her dad.